Good morning, people. Yeah, so I might as well do a video, right, of the pre-trip, right? So come along and join me, see what to check out, right? Come on now. Yeah, I already did it, so I'm just gonna go along and do it again and show you guys real quick. It's important to have engine washed, so you could basically see all the details. This was probably washed like a month ago. I got the truck. I'm gonna try to record and put my gloves on at the same time. Hold on a second. Yeah, so you wanna make sure everything is good. I'm tall enough to see up there, about 5'10". So you wanna make sure everything is fastened. First of all, because if you don't, make sure ain't nothing moving. The steer link arm is good. Hoses for the air compressor. Make sure that's adjustable. You can't pull the steering column. Leave springs down there, the long U-bolts, and the nuts and screws. Even on the bottom here, you can see everything is fastened. That's the cotter pin. People call it the tower pin, the rook pin. And you see your disc brakes is good, nothing leaking. Even the grooves in your tires, they're still new. You can still see those little rivets in there and the little thunderbolt. No leaky hubs. We're gonna do the lights last. It's already did it. Like I said, I did the pre-trip first. Make sure your washer fluid is in. Make sure all your electronic gadgets are fastened. No abrasion, cuts, or bubbles. Same thing in the fuel line. All that stuff. And then that's the air filter. That's your horn right there. It's your fuse box. Now we go to the other side. Just make sure, already touched them and stuff like that. But it's good to have a tire beater to check these things if you don't want to check it with your glove. So I'm holding the camera, right? So you make sure that's fastened. Basically want to get a hand on it, grip it. The air filter, it's been changed, but you always want to make sure we do all that. You don't want no dirty air going into the engine. And then your cabin filter and all that stuff. You'll be smelling it. That's not oil. That's basically from the air conditioner. I was idling all night. It was hot last night here in Indiana. Make sure your brakes are good. These are little disc brakes, so you can check the little interplay, but you can't. The old ones you used to, but you can't even grab that. This is all in the little disc brakes. So, yeah, and then your next to the radiator right there, you want to make sure you got the coolant in there, and the coolant is not filled all the way up. So I left my AirPod case in there, so I'm gonna make sure your lights, as you can see, it just came on. Go over here. Always make sure the fuel is connected. Make sure it's closed. The cap is closed, because you have people, they might want to steal fuel. You can look under there and get you a good thing that everything is connected, nothing's out of whack. Check that every day, because if you don't, you never know. Something might happen, something might not be connected. That's your air compressor for your brakes, your tractor, your steers, your drive tires, and your trailer. So yeah, you just want to make sure everything, all the wires is connected. Your axle is in. Make sure it's all connected. It's like a camshaft of a car. So you're gonna make sure it's all connected. You're not gonna be able to drive and leave where it be coming from, you know? Tread depth is good. Make sure it's in tip-top shape. They're still new, so they're probably at an 8 now, but they was at a 10. Make sure all your nuts and bolts are up to par. Nothing's out of whack. Those are caps over the original bolts. So you know they ain't moved. They're not cracked. Your hub is not off. Everything is fine. Hub's not leaking. Make sure your fifth wheel is intact. See? So a lot of people, when they drive, they'll be pressing buttons or switching toggles down, and then you probably try to leave the truck stop, and then the fucking trailer will slide back. You can't do that. Make sure your fifth wheel is locked in. Make sure that bolt for the fifth wheel mechanism is not sticking out further than it's supposed to be. Now we got a fifth wheel switch in the tractor, so you just make sure that it's not flipped. You don't want to release your fifth wheel. Make sure your mud flaps is on. I'm gonna crawl under here. Make sure your shocks is good. Airbag is good on the suspension. Your fifth wheel is locked. See that little line up in there? That little line up in there? That means the trailer is not gonna fall off. You do a tug test when you leave too. You just make sure everything on the axles and the drive shaft is good. Now make sure your mud flaps is good too, you know what I'm saying? So as we walk along, you can tap that. Make sure your lights is good. Go under here, tread depth is good. And this is just quick. Anybody could do this. Your caps on your air chambers is good. We're tapping them, tapping that axle. Just make sure everything is linked up, because you won't be able to go anywhere. Like I said, if one of these is messed up, make sure your airlines is good, everything's connected to the trailer. And then you got a compressor right there that makes you stop. You know, air goes to here, and it compresses the brake disc. So you make sure they're not leaking either. Gonna creep under here like a turtle. Make sure you wipe off your hub so you can see kind of in there where it's not leaking. All your nuts and bolts is connected. Check your tires, make sure they're not flat. Pre and post strip, right? Right. Make sure your tandem pins are pushed out. Like I said, you'll move the trailer and it slide. Some people, they have a button in their truck where they slide it. I'm gonna show you the button. It's not in the dash, but it's on the other side. So I'm making sure no leaks. Everything, the discs look good. It's the mechanism to move stuff. And then you go in there to make sure the brake air compressor's not busted, the lines are good. You know, everything else is good. I would go around, make sure your DLT bumper is good. All the lights are good. Now on the other side, make sure everything's good, like the other side. Make sure your pins are good. Get your tires. Now here, you press that, you're pushing in. You can pull it out. When you pull it out, those pins will go in. You'll be able to slide your trailer and adjust the weight I would usually mark with it's good to have a couple quarters in your pocket so you can mark where you slid it. These are all like when I was at like 42, 44, 40, or even sometimes 38. I didn't mark them. So it's good to keep that like that. It's okay if it's rusted, it's not gonna hurt it, right? But you know where you slid to adjust the weight. And I'm usually right. Here's a secret. So like say if you look in your trailer, right? You look in your trailer, right? And you notice that the pallets are loaded, and then the inside it got these ribs too. So you'll notice that where the pallet ends, like say if it ends right here, right? You got a whole 2 pallets or even 3. You want to make sure that it's rested on these tires on the trailer. So you're evening and distributing the weight the right way. And it saves you on the scale. It's good to have a weigh my cat scale out. So make sure that's gonna blink. Make sure your landing gear is good. There's no rocks or pebbles that could hit another car and damage your windshield. Make sure your landing gear crank arm is in. I always usually press it right there. We already been on this side, we checked everything, but you just want to make sure your brake lights are coming on and signaling left, right, and then stop position. There it goes. Checking the suspension. Getting that. That's your backup light. Once again, these are not cracked, the caps for the lug nuts. Your air needle. You want to check your PSI. Oh, I check it damn near every day. But I'll have to show you that in another video. But yeah, you want to make sure your tires are not warped. You're not over the rim. You're cool. Cool. Leaf spring right there. Just check that. Make sure handle when you pull your 5th wheel, make sure it's in. It's not out, halfway out, it's all the way in. See, and you can touch these. So you got a long enough tire beater, right? Make sure your emergency line, your air line. Emergency line is the red, air line is the blue. Make sure everything is coupled. Electric line is in. Make sure it's not halfway in. When I was local, you know, you do so many trailers, you could stick some paper in there and your lights will stay on. But this one is still a brand new trailer, so I don't have to do that. Follow your line, make sure it's no abrasion, bubbles, or cuts. Make sure your little slinky, it's not warped or hanging. You know, and make sure, this makes sure, you know, the lines don't get tangled if you're doing like a U-turn. No U-turns in trucks. That's asking for an accident. That's why I laugh. You ain't supposed to do that. This is the airbags for the cab. So you make sure you're not rocking. It's not like you're in the fucking Sardie. You're already in the Sardie, big old Sardie kingdom. Make sure you're in the Cracker Jack box. Make sure gas tanks ain't leaking. Last but not least, make sure that is on. We're almost done. Make sure your battery box is fastened. You don't want this falling down to the ground. Your batteries are exposed. And you get out the truck and you bust your ass. 3-point stance when you're getting out the tractor. All right, we're gonna close this up. We're gonna do the last part, making sure that it's doing the signal lights, left turn, high beams and all, fog lights. Now make sure this. Yeah, and I can't forget, I gotta make sure I do a video on the GPS which GPS I think is the best. I have two. I don't have the latest and greatest Garmin. I do have the older one. It's kind of small. It's too small for my liking. So I'm gonna do a video on the GPS. Oh yeah, last but not least, make sure when you're checking the engine compartment, make sure that, you know, where the engine sits on, make sure that frame is straight. Make sure it's not bent. Yep, that's it. That's the end of the pre-trip, post-trip. I know a lot of videos, they leave a lot of stuff out, but you're gonna make sure as you go, as you progress, as you go to the shop more, you're gonna make sure if you messed up that you didn't check it. So, all right, I forgot that little tidbit in there. I had to add it at the end. It is what it is. All right, being truthful, you know, keeping it real. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.